Today we're making a creamy white cheddar mac and cheese. It is epically cheesy with 2 types of cheeses and also a bit of crème fraiche folded in at the end, which gives it that extra bit of just silkiness and creaminess. And it is just warming and comforting and just powerfully cheesy, which is exactly what you want with mac and cheese. If you're enjoying this video, be sure to hit the subscribe button below and click the bell icon to be notified every time I post a new and delicious recipe. Let's get into it. So, it's pretty simple, just a few steps. I just want to take you through the ingredients first. I don't usually do that, but I feel like here it rolls through kind of fast, so I want to make sure we've got everything we need. I have pre-cooked my pasta in salted water. You want to make sure you can taste your water. It should taste like the sea. And then I didn't think you needed to see me do that because I actually want to use the same pot to mix it because you know I don't love extra dishes if I don't have to. I've got my all-purpose flour, my butter that is unsalted so that I can control the level of my salt in the full dish, and that's for my roux, and then also my salt, kosher salt. And then I've got whole milk. You can use 2% or skim or whatever you'd like. I use whole, it has a rich flavor, I mean we're in it, right? And then I've got my cheese assortment here. I've got about 1 cup of Gruyere, and then I've got about 2 cups of extra sharp white cheddar. I use 2 different varieties. I just like to kind of, everyone tastes different, so I like to mix it all together and get like a little different variety, a little, you know, it's like, it just adds a bit of, you know, depth to the dish. So I've got these 2 cheeses. I'm gonna mix those together because they don't need to be separate. and then the last ingredient is crème fraiche. This is my little secret. If you don't have crème fraiche or can't find it, you should probably use cream cheese. It's better than sour cream in this instant. Sour cream might add like a little bit of a tang, more tang than you want. But it's just to add that bit of creaminess to the final finished dish. So the first step in our roux is butter. So my pan is already warm because obviously I just cooked my pasta because my pasta is still warm. And so it's going to start melting immediately, which is lovely. We'll just go ahead and turn this on kind of low. This low is more like medium, but so we just want to melt our butter before we add our flour to it. I am using a flat bottom whisk. They have like that other variety that has like the kind of curls that go around. That will also work, but you can also just use a regular whisk. You just want to make sure that you get into all the corners and that no flour is like burned and, you know, it's unattended. So all of my, spoke too soon. All right, all of my butter has been melted. I'm going to add my salt. I like to add the salt at this stage. It kind of melds all the flavors together. And then I'm going to add my all-purpose flour. Just go ahead and kind of mix that into a bit of a paste. And we're going to cook this until it boils for about a minute. You want it to be nice and thick, and you know, you don't want that raw taste of flour in your mac and cheese because that would just be really quite upsetting. Now ideally you don't want a roux to burn, but especially since this is a white cheddar, you know, it's not going to hide that quite as well. But honestly, just as long as it's not egregious and you don't have that like burned flour bitter taste, it's okay. Because the butter eventually will start to burn the solids, and then you're just going to add a nice nutty flavor, and I say the more the merrier with that. Okay. Now, we are going to go ahead and add our milk while it's still boiling, and we're just going to do a little bit at a time. The key is not to overwhelm it. You want the flour to start to thicken the milk, and you don't want it to, if you add too much at one time, you'll get like a soupy mess. So you see how this is a nice kind of paste in here? That's beautiful. I'm going to go ahead and add pretty much the rest here. You don't want to add it so fast that it gets lumpy, but as soon as you kind of get that nice paste, like smooth white paste, you can continue to add it. Bring that back to a boil, and then we're going to add our cheese. Okay, so we're going to add our cheese, which we've already Mixed, we're gonna reserve a bit of it, like about a half cup, give or take, to go over the top of it, because you want that nice, like, cheesy, melty, browned top, you know, like that's not optional here. So we'll save a little bit. Go ahead and stir that in, we'll get it all nice and melty. Can't see what I'm doing, I'm sorry. All right, nice and melty. If your cheese, so I grated my cheese on the finest setting, so it melted pretty fast. But if your cheese, you know, you used a thicker, you know, kind of coarser grate, then you know, you might need to turn your stove back on or something, just to, especially if it came straight from the fridge. Cool. Beautiful. So now we're gonna add our crème fraiche, and we're just gonna go ahead and pop this in there, all of it. Okay, extra bit of creaminess. And now we're gonna add our pasta, which is cooked and strained. It is still warm. Now I cooked it to al dente, which just means it has like a little bit of a slight firmness to the center of it, especially since it's gonna sit there while I make the rest of the cheese, you know, the mac and cheese. You could add about a half a cup more. That was about 2.5 cups of dried cooked shells. You could add about a half a cup more and still have plenty of sauce, but like I like extra obnoxiously cheesy and saucy mac and cheese. So that's what we have here. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and take this, pop it in our dish. Technically this is stovetop mac and cheese, and you're done. You could totally eat it like this. But we're gonna pop it in the oven for that extra bit of, you know, just gooiness. Yes. Do I want to in the blue one? Quick dish change, sorry. Now just go ahead and give it a spread out. It's not gonna do it itself. Nope. Oh, but how gorgeous does that look, my people? So good. Yum. All right, and now we're gonna put more cheese on it, because why not? Make sure you choose a cheese that you like. I know that sounds really obvious, but taste your cheese before you put it in, especially with Gruyères, and you know, they vary quite greatly in flavor. So just know your cheese before you proceed. All right, she's ready. I took twice as long as you had to do that, and I am not apologetic about it. I'm gonna pop this in the oven, preheated 350 regs, and it'll probably take about 20 minutes, but gosh, are we ready for her? It's out. It is bubbling ferociously. You can see it's bubbling in the center. I did hit it under the broiler just quickly, and you can just see that it is, well, it's a whole pot of, just a whole, I can't even speak, I'm so excited. It's just a whole dish of cheesy goodness. It's right here in front of us. Sadly, if we dug in right now, like, mouths would be burned, taste buds would be ruined for the day, and like, we're not here for that. So we're gonna let it chill just a moment. Okay, like 15 minutes, and then we'll serve it. It is best served warm. If it's cold, it does definitely kind of congeals and sets, and like, I hate to use gross words like congeal, but that's what it does. So, you know, you wanna just serve it hot. It's time to try. It is cooled slightly, probably about 15 minutes, so it's definitely kind of more set. And depending on how long you bake it, if you bake it a little less time, you're gonna get more of that cheese pull because less of the moisture has evaporated. Mine was in there about 10 minutes longer because I was waiting for something else. But these are the things that happen, and it's still gonna taste phenomenal. Eee! What? Where'd you go? Come back. It smells so good. So rich and cheesy. Let's do this. It was a big bite. I'll admit it. I did it. It's so rich and smooth and creamy from that little bit of crème fraiche that we put in there. And then you have like the 3 types of cheeses that just meld together into one complex yet simple and comforting flavor. The best mac and cheese. Better if I hadn't overcooked it. Fun fact.